Hi, guys. What?
I was just seeing if you just repeated the same old thing.
It's my thing. That's what I do.
No, that's all right. I was just
I don't know what else
to
to
see.
say. Hello.
Hello. So
How formal.
everybody in Pottyland's missing out because we've got a special guest today.
Stop it.
We do. We have a special guest. She was a very big star on MySpace. And we'll put I'm not going to mention her whole name in MySpace because she'll get cancelled.
Yeah, please.
So we're just calling her Flick.
Yes.
So if you want to see what Flick looks like, we will put a link of a picture of Flick. So you've got an idea of what I'm sitting next to at the moment.
Oh my God. Yeah, I used to be a massive scene kid on MySpace. So yes. I do have somewhere on my Instagram, I've got a bunch of photos I uploaded from what I used to look like, which is hilarious. And
which is like what you look like now.
I don't look like, I kind of do.
Except you sort of look 15 now, whereas the other pictures you looked 14.
I was 14. And I've got a concert to go to tonight, so I thought I'd get in the spirit of...
And what's the concert?
His name's Youngblood.
Youngblood.
He's amazing. I feel like such a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, her old bedroom used to have posters of him on the ceiling.
No, he was like an infant back when I was a teenager.
Was he?
Yeah, he's only 24.
Oh.
I know, he's really young.
Getting into the cot, are
No, I'm not. I really like his music, so I'm really excited.
Cool.
I'm going to be in the mosh.
The mosh. You going to sit on Jared's shoulders?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I seem to have two moods, psytrance or emo.
Then you've got your emo rap.
That's, anyway.
Anyway.
Those are my main moods.
Your main moods.
Anyway.
So, yeah, off to a concert. So, how long since you've been at a concert?
I went, the week we got back from Europe, I had 2 gigs on. I went to a psytrance event and then I went to a metal show.
Oh, the metal show was a concert. Psytrance is just
it was
DJs.
Just a gig, yeah. But I went to a metal concert. Really good Australian band called North Flame. Yeah. I like them. But that was good. So it's really fun now that we can actually do things again, like travel and go to concerts and clubs are like, it's...
Yeah, the last concert I went to was Dead Mouse. I know that didn't happen. They got cancelled.
We're going in Chicago.
Yeah, we're going in Chicago. So I think the last concert I went to, I think the last concert I went to was War of the Worlds.
Oh, like the orchestra one?
Yeah, and it was a tennis centre with a 3D holographic head of the narrator. It was pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed it.
I remember one day you put on that soundtrack while we were working. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, because one of your DJs ripped off one of them.
He didn't rip it off. He remixed. He sampled it.
He sampled it.
It was Neelix.
It's Neelix, I know. I kept on saying, this is from War of the Worlds. What are you talking about? I never forget when I got the album, I can't remember how old I was, but on release date, I think I got to Brash's, the old record shop. Anyone in Australia will know who I was talking about, who's my age. And I got there like 10 minutes before closing on the day it was released because the shipments were coming late. I'd already been there 3 times on that day and they still didn't get the shipment in. And I got in there and got one. They took it straight out of the box that had just come in. And I got home and it was like nearly midnight by the time I got home. My brother was asleep, so we share a room, and I still put the record player on with a pair of headphones and listened to the whole 4 sides because it's a double album.
4 sides, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love that thing.
That's cool. When was that though? When did you go to that concert?
I'm too old to remember what.
A while ago.
It was a long while ago. Yeah, I would think it might be 20 years. I don't know, 15 years ago.
Well, you're going to be very excited to go to Deadmau5 then.
I was.
Well,
until you cancelled.
I didn't cancel it.
They saw your name on the door.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure. That whole thing with what Neelix did with the ripping off that
He sampled it.
I know, but I've noticed recently when I started looking into people like Richard Prince, and then started looking even further into artists and musicians, so many of them steal their work, but in a good way. And it's like what Richard Prince did with me at the time.
I wouldn't say that's a good way. I think what he did was wrong.
Maybe, but it was still... See, I've grown past it. I've gone to the... that picture would never got the fame. That picture would never sold for $90,000 if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, but also,
right, so
what did you and the model get out of it?
Nothing, but what he got out of it was $90,000 less the
And all
commission.
it was a screenshot off Instagram.
But he wrote something on there.
He says wrong.
That's what made it famous because he wrote on it.
Absolutely not.
And he removed my photography by Peter Coulson.
I know. I find it.
That's how he made it more. Once he removed me from it, it made it more worth more money.
I don't think so. I think it was just because he did it to so many people. I just think it was really rude, and I think it was stealing.
He did it to the Marlboro Man.
I know. I don't find it. I don't find it good. I find it to be.
Well, what about Tarantino then?
What about Tarantino?
Nearly every single scene in his movies is taken out of another movie.
It's influenced by.
No, it's actually copied.
No, it's not.
Oh, I'll give you... Here's another thing to write down. There is a really, really cool YouTube on Tarantino, and it shows where Tarantino got the influences for so many of his movies. Remember I was telling you about the scene in Pulp Fiction where the dance scene and John Travolta's dance was out of...
Sorry about that.
Hit the microphone.
Sorry.
John Travolta's dance was one of the old Twister movies, and it was the exact dance he wanted to do. And then Uma Thurman was the cat. And that was the dances. So he already decided he wanted that cartoon cat dance, and so he stole those two.
It's different to take I don't know. I
know what you're saying, but no, the reason I'm going there a little bit because I've just noticed that in photography and in art, how many people's work that I know a backstory of, fairly famous people, the original idea came from somebody else's photo.
Yeah, well, I guess it's hard to be original in this day and age because most things have been done. So, of course, you're going to get influenced by other things, but I think just a blatant copy, what Richard Prince did, just blatantly taking Instagram screenshots, I don't agree with that. But I think being influenced by other things is completely fine. And applying that to your own art, but then making it your own, but getting an influence from something, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think just him blatantly taking Instagram screenshots was wrong.
What about people painting my pictures? Oh, there's a sticky one. So what about people taking photographs of something influenced by a painter's painting? The silence.
I'm trying to find my words.
You're trying to find your words.
I think being influenced by something is fine. I think just blatantly stealing something is not okay.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying because he didn't actually do anything to the photo. He wrote something in the comment and then screenshotted while that comment was in the top. Then he removed my name, so he actually did something after the screenshot.
But it's people painting your photos, I guess, if they're putting their own spin on it, they're still kind of making it their own. So I think if you make it your own, it's fine.
No, cool.
That's my stance.
No, I've come around with this whole feeling more and more, I'd say since I started doing that thing, I read up about Richard Prince and actually went right back to when he was first an artist, and his early art was just amazing. All he did was expand on his early art was 40 different things he had seen built into one. But once they were all joined together, you can't see any of the originals until someone actually goes, look.
Points it out,
and that's a little bit like what Tarantino does. I think it's the final scene in Django is a rip-off of a Western. They actually showed the scene. It has Tarantino showing you, this is what I want the final scene to look like.
Right.
So, which is, I don't have a problem with that because it's like a DJ. It takes a little bit of everybody's music and makes something new out of joining everybody else's music together. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with someone taking a picture and saying it's theirs.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess Richard Prince never said, I took this. He just said, this is my art, but his art was other people's work.
Yeah, his art was the comment he put on the picture before he did the screenshots.
So lame.
So even Margot Robbie, I think Margot Robbie was one of them.
Emrata was.
Emrata, sorry. Even that, there was something about his comment there which actually worked with the. I'm still not. Even a 20% commission would have been nice. But anyway, even some mention even for Alice the model. But
yeah.
Where I'm going to, it's kind of taken a lot of. The way I work, I'll get influence from pictures. And I don't copy the picture, I take my own. I've copied one or two because Hasselblad wanted me to do some famous pictures, but shoot them on the Hasselblad and shoot them more modern. So I did the old one with Rara and the stockings. I can't think who it was. Bridget Bardot.
Yep.
I did that. But still, if you look at it, besides the stockings and the crossed legs, it is a different picture. Yeah. It's still mine and the way I work, but I still see it as a tribute to the photographer and her then. David Bowie and Kate Moss did the famous scene out of Blown Up.
Yep.
Right. There's been lots of those photos that have been regurgitated, and I have seen a lot in fashion where you can see, I can't remember the label who did it. I think it might have been Vivienne Westwood, and it was sort of something that felt like it was out of Clockwork Orange, and it had a very strong feel. The makeup was very similar. And how many people took the twiggy eyelashes and so things like that? But when I was doing what we're filming the other day, I was going through my head and thinking, is this me cheating, or is this still photography, or am I? And then I started thinking about it deeply and thought, no, this is just using the tools of today to do what we can do. So when we never had cameras, everyone painted or drew. Then we got cameras, so people started taking pictures, and then they started getting fussy about what the picture looked like. So famous people like Ansel Adams and Avedon and people of that started doing dodging and burning in the darkroom to take down the lights darker and make the darks lighter. And then we got into digital, which allowed us to do all this. After we took the picture, we could then. Originally, the RAWs, the only work we could do was very sloppy global work. Like it was either darken the whole picture, lighten the whole picture, maybe vignette the picture, but you couldn't go through and dodge and burn in the RAW like we could now with Photoshop, where we can actually dodge this and burn this. And then what I did on the last shoot, where being able to tether into a program that allowed me to pre-dodge and burn the picture before I'd even taken it. So it's nearly like lighting, like get my lighting exposure perfect, so to get detail everywhere perfect. And then do my dodging and burning, and then getting the model to sit within that area.
That was really cool.
So yeah, it's sort of, and I've got some of the screenshots. I can't show them, but I found them on. I'm certain if you type in, there was a famous picture of the pretty boy from the 60s who died in a car crash, James Dean, walking a street in a rainy day.
Did he die in a car crash?
Yeah, I think he did. I think my brain's healthy enough to think it's true.
I know that photo though. It's a very famous one.
Yeah. And there's also, if you Google it, you can find the dodge and burn. You can find the dodge and burn description. So they would print the original picture, then the photographer will go and put circles, say -2 stops, +1 stop, and put circles all over the picture. Then the printer, the guy who did the developing, had to do with the circles and the blockers to dodge the picture to get that effect. So like I did yesterday, I was using the circular masks to pre-dodge and burn the picture. So it changed the whole lighting. Last night when I was sitting, I was thinking, is that cheating? And I thought, no, this is just...
It's a new little technique you found.
Well, it's stuff that I couldn't do it with light. I could do it with lights, but then Rara would have been fixed. Because now what I've got is I can go back into it and move that whole dodge and burn circle when she's moved her head a little bit. Whereas
if it was lights, she wouldn't have been able to move.
I would have had to move the light every time, which means I wouldn't have got those expressions.
And she probably would have felt like if she had to stay fixed, you probably wouldn't have got because she would have felt really static.
Static.
Yeah. Whereas at least this way she had the freedom to move and how she models and stuff.
Yeah, so from the next step, I can't remember. I'll put a link to the app. I can't remember what it starts with P, ends with E. I just found it the other day. It's for me to be able to sketch on the iPad, but it's really, really cool. Gives you every type of charcoal and chalk right through to paints and all of them.
Is that what you were watching, the YouTube one?
Yeah, I was watching the YouTube one. And I've got my pencil with the iPad.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because I always have ideas, and I used to squiggle them out on this. Now I've got this program, I can actually like charcoal something out quickly. And then I started looking at thinking, oh, I could pre-charcoal a dodge and burn pattern.
That'd be cool.
And then bring that into Lightroom and set up my dodging burning based on my charcoal.
Right. That's really cool.
I know, but I just felt, is this like cheating?
No, you're just using technology that's available now, like
to make art.
Yeah, but it's not cheating because this is the technology we have these days. Whereas back in the day we didn't have it. So now that you have it, so just because this technology is available, you're not supposed to use it, and you should always do everything the way it used to be done. No, I don't believe so. I was going down, and I still will do it. I was going down another rabbit hole. You would have heard me talking about projecting. So they're using flashlights, use a projector. Oh, yeah.
And I was going to have light and dark shades on the screen and then project that to create the dodging and burning. So use the projector light, but it was very hard to get a softer type projection light. But then I found all I had to do was defocus the projector.
Right.
And it did that. But I had then the problem where the model had to be in that exact position.
Yeah.
And you know how I work. It's if you lock a model into a position, you're not going to get the look I want. And hold. Any photographers out there, I teach all my models that the worst thing you can say to a model is the word hold. And I tell them what hold means. Hold means I'm a crappy photographer. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get my focus. I can't get my settings right.
You have said hold once or twice. I have heard you.
Yeah, but it's very rare.
No, yeah. But
so I don't literally, it's normally I want them to hold that thought.
Right. Okay.
Right, it's more, and hold might be the wrong word. I should be saying keep that thought, don't lose that thought.
Right. I have heard you say it. I think you said it in a YouTube, and even someone else was like, I thought Peter didn't say hold. Sorry, it's fun.
Well, I say beautiful to a pair of shoes. So.
True.
When I'm shooting print.
And I think I mentioned this in an earlier podcast that even from my point of view, hearing hold is if it's you don't know how long to hold it for. If you are going to tell someone to hold something, at least give the cue that, okay, you can do whatever you want now. I've got it. Don't just say hold and then
I never tell you to unhold.
Yeah. Or oh, can you just pose like this and then never tell me to stop posing it because I'm just going to, can I change now? I know you've done that before. You've been oh, can you just do this? And you're taking me oh, you can do whatever you want now.
Yeah.
So
normally meant it didn't work.
But I feel if you are gonna tell someone to hold or do a specific pose, at least let them know when they can let go of it. Yeah, because otherwise it's do I keep doing that? And then you end up with a question mark on the face, which
I used to do a bit of and I even did it with you in our early days. I used to do micro posing when I want your head where you're on. I want everything where it is. You're allowed to move 10 millimeters or 20 or so maybe an inch. You're allowed to move an inch around with your head, and that's it. But I want inside your head to move a mile.
Yeah.
And just hold there, come into and then just let your head go through all different expressions. And Rara did that a bit yesterday, and because she's wanting to do that. Well, she needs to do it. She's doing the acting thing. So she's learning her skill in there, and I put it back on her. I said, all right, so you can't walk around with this shot. You're restricted to sitting there. And I do want it over the shoulders, so you're fairly restricted with your movement. But now I want to see all the different, I want to see 6 different scenes, 6 different people, or 6 different thoughts. But I really want to see that change. And they were very visible. You could see them quite clearly.
I could see even a few photos that I could see the different expressions.
Well, see, they're the things I'm looking for. It's anybody can, and it's a bit like I was talking somewhere about stories. I think it's really important that a picture has a story to it. and the story can only come out of the eyes or props. So they've got to be in a certain place, holding a certain thing to start a story.
My nose is so itchy. Sorry.
Oh, it could have been the white powder you put on your face.
No, stop it.
The foundation.
You're hilarious.
Hilarious. It's, it's that, well, even if you look at, we might have to put that picture up now. Not that it's my favourite picture of it, it's colour. But even if you look in those eyes, you're going to watch, there's a thought or there's a look, isn't there? Mm. So that look, everybody's going to see that look slightly different to mean a different thing.
But it's also going to depend on whatever mood you're in. It's like that, kind of like Mona Lisa or like the Afghan girl that was on the magazine. Depending on what mood you're in, you're going to see a different thing. Have
you looked at the Mona Lisa since you've heard me say it?
Probably.
You've never been aware of what?
No, like I think I've heard you say it. I mean, we've been working together for 4.5 years.
What my thing is that a couple of images, and one's a painting, one's a photo, which are famous worldwide. But if you look at them technically or anything, they're just really a picture. But then if you look at them emotionally, they're like a whole book. And there's the one thing that I heard someone talking about it, and I think I might have applied it further. So I think I originally heard it about the Mona Lisa smile, that every time you look at the smile, it's different. Not if you look at it twice on the same day at the same time, it's not going to change. But if you go every day and look at it, you'll find that some days it's a smirk, some days it's a smile I like you, some days it's a snarl. And it's allowing you to put your own mood onto that picture. Yeah. And that Afghani girl is very famous, the one that was on Time magazine, and she's pretty much deadpan in the face, there's nothing there. But I find even now, and I've done it a couple of times where I brought that picture up on my screen to see what mood I'm in. Yeah. To see what I see in her eyes is basically like a mirror, and it's showing me what mood I'm in. Yeah.
So, no, like I feel like, moods definitely like affect how you, like, there's no way knowing if I'm in a bad mood, I cannot pick out an outfit for the weekend, because everything I put on, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to think I look really bad. But if I'm in a good mood, everything looks great.
Yeah.
Well, not everything, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, or even if I pick out like something to wear when I'm in a good mood, but then I go to wear it when I'm in a bad mood, I'll be like, why did I think this? This looks horrible. So, yeah, moods definitely affect the way we view things.
Well, I also think that education, the way you've been educated, changes the way you look at things. So I found, even with myself, when I was trying to learn the skill of photography, and that's the transition out of shooting the fishing stuff, because I didn't care then. All I had to do was get everything reasonably in focus and exposed, yeah. And then try and create the right framing for that picture to make it interesting. Yep. But then once I started getting to it, I started watching too much, going to too many things. I didn't really go to camera. I didn't join a camera club, but I did join the.
Sorry, I was probably making noise.
No, I don't know. I can't hear it.
It's brushing my hair with my fingers. Anyway.
So once I started getting it, I found that I was looking everything in life through the eyes of a photographer. And I feel I did that up until a few years ago, when I got sick and tired of looking at movies and looking at the cinematography. And I think Black Hawk Down was the first one I said, I'm not doing this anymore, because the blacks are blocked up. I don't care. It's giving the mood to the movie. I need to be watching the story of the movie, not what I would have done with the lighting.
Well, I'm not even a photographer, and I remember when I started work with you, I hadn't been working with you for very long, but obviously I started to learn more about lighting. I remember watching a TV show and I was looking for the catch lights, and I was like, oh, that's how they've lit this scene, because I could see the catch lights, and I was like, oh, they've got like, oh, they're doing like a clam shelter. And I do that all the time now. I watch something and I look at catch lights, I'm like, oh, that's how they've lit this.
But now you've missed what they were talking about.
Exactly, because I'm too busy looking at the catch lights and figuring out how to lit the scene. So even I do it, and I'm not a photographer, but I think it's just I think it's just being overly critical. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the way you view it. I think it's, if you can
What was it? Actually, I wasn't looking at it critically. When I was doing it, I wasn't being critical. I was just like...
Right. So it's nearly like my analogy of the box of flies. If you keep them here, you're wary of it. Once you lift them off and put them over there, you know it's there, but it's not the main thing.
Yeah.
So I found watching the show that you won't watch, Boys, I finished it, by the way, amazing. No, it's so messed up. But watching that, it's very digital. The skin's all been digitally enhanced. Everything's very sharp. The saturation, it suits the whole feel of it. Suits it really well. And I did enjoy every now having the color palette they had really, really puts you into that mood. It was nearly, even though it's not comic booky at all, it's silly, surreal of the coloring. It's not quite what you'd ever see with your real eyes.
Yep.
To watching Strange Things, whereas I'm there and just one scene I thought, it's a bit flat. Peter, what are you doing? Watch a movie. It was just different directors, different producers, different looks.
And they probably want a different feel out of Stranger Things as well, because it's 80s and it's meant to be like the kind of grungy 80s.
Exactly. That's why I said get it out of your head. This is the mood for this movie.
TV show.
A TV show. Long movie. Multi-part.
Speaking of, sorry, just quickly interrupt, I saw the funniest thing and it was like, it was this meme and it was like, Netflix, would you like to watch a 10-hour movie? Me, absolutely not. Netflix, how about you watch 10 one-hour segments but do it at once? Oh, sign me up. It was like, damn, I did that with, I think it was The Queen's Gambit. I think I watched all like 7 episodes of that almost in one sitting. Yeah, at least I watched 4 or 5. I watched I just sat on the couch one afternoon and just binged it.
Yeah, there was one we didn't. Sheree and I did in 2 nights, and that was that one. I always get it wrong. The one with Nicole Kidman.
The Undoing.
The Undoing. Yeah, it got me into very, very clever with their end of each segment. So we would get to it and it'd be the very last scene and you just go, oh, no, you can't finish there. And I think the first time we watched, I think we watched 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And we said, no, stuff this. We'll watch the first 5 minutes of the next episode and wait for it to go a bit dead, then kill it. But they do that on purpose to get you to binge.
Oh, what did I do? I think I did that with Squid Game. There was one episode of it and I was like, no, I can't finish there. So we had to watch it was the one with the tug of war.
Oh, the tug of war.
And I was like, I need to watch the next 5 minutes, but then we turned it off.
Yeah, well, I think I also did it with that other game one,
Alice in Borderland.
Alice in Borderland, yeah.
God, we watch a lot of TV, don't we?
I actually don't. Sheree actually commented that in the last 2 weeks of build, so I finished The Boys.
Yeah.
Ozark. I think I've got 2 more to finish that one off, but I've been watching it for years. Yeah. And then I think because my head's in a different space now, so I couldn't get out of my desk. Whereas now I've worked all day, I'm happy to go and sit and go brain dead for a bit and enjoy somebody else's creations.
I feel like we should rebrand this podcast to sometimes photography, but mostly food and TV shows.
We haven't spoken about food yet today.
No, we haven't.
No, I haven't got anything to add to food at the moment.
Me either.
Except you tried mushrooms.
No, not for me.
Not for you?
No. Where's my Insta going?
What are you looking at?
Just check. I had notifications. People like me.
You have notifications. What, on your Tinder?
No.
Or was that the Grinder?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. No, where did you distract me?
I distracted you. I'm sorry. I'm really...
Oh, that's right. It was on looking at things different.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've actually... So I was quite aware of it in Stranger Things. And I actually said, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And it was because the story is a bit dead at the moment. I was bored.
I
it was a bit where it wasn't much happening. It was just, and that's what I was doing because I was getting bored. I was nearly at the stage of I'm going to get up and go to my desk. The sounds of Bec opening a wine.
I forget how sensitive these mics are.
We can hear every little bit of it. It's a Purple Worms, by the way, and she's already put a description in one of our Who did you end up making it? Esther with S, didn't it?
I wasn't in the description. Someone commented on YouTube. I'll put a link to it there so you guys know what it is. I'll just write purple.
We call it purple worms, but we made it famous because the shop where the little wine cellars where we bought it, we called it purple worms. Now they all call it purple worms.
Influencers.
Let's do a purple worms photo shoot.
We could do that.
Cover you in purple worms.
And bathe in it.
No, not bathe in the wine. Bathe in purple worms.
Yuck. No, not
thousands of them.
Yuck. Ew. The slimes. Anyways, we were talking, it was dead and you were paying attention and you were analysing that it was all flat and stuff. That's what you were saying, I think. Or did we get past that?
I'd moved that. Moved on from there. Just re-brought up something that was dead. And well done.
I don't know. I was too busy focusing on opening my wine.
I must admit, since I did have that thing that stopped looking at things like a photographer and enjoy them, it's made a big difference. So even on social media, instead of looking at something how I would do it, I'm now looking at how the artist or how the creator wanted you to see it. And I had that person recently on Facebook that made a comment that the girl's thought her face was very bland and ugly and just didn't like a sleepy eye or a snarly mouth.
Oh yeah.
And he said, in my opinion. And I said, yeah, well,
that's your opinion.
That's your opinion. But I don't understand why you feel the need to pass your opinion on to everybody else.
Yeah.
That's not the words I use. I can't even remember the words I use, but I said it in a nice way. It's more like, and I said that that's right. I just said, I've never felt the need to actually pass my opinion on to somebody else's work because that's just my opinion and that photographer or artist or musician never made that image for me. They should have been making it for himself. So who cares what my opinion is? It wasn't made for me.
Yeah. I guess the problem with it is social media does have the lovely little comment box, and because there is a comment box, people feel they need to comment on everything just because it's there as an option. And I just don't, me personally, I don't leave negative opinions. I'll leave a positive opinion in a way of I only follow people that I know on social media, but if one of my friends posts a photo and I think it's amazing, I'll leave a comment saying how amazing I think it is. I'll leave a positive compliment. But if I see something that I don't like, I don't go out of my way to leave a comment saying I don't like this, I just scroll past it. I just don't feel the need to pass on a negative opinion just because a comment box is there.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. If the picture's not to my palette or it's just average and it's just a page flicker, that's exactly what happens. I just flick past it, didn't see it.
But if something stops your attention,
stops me,
you're going to say,
I might look at it and go, oh, you stopped me. But you all you did was stop me. Yeah. Flick. Oh, I really like this. I'll give them a like. I've actually got to go, this is freaking amazing. Screenshot it to save it somewhere because so I want to look at it more than once. It's really hard to find, especially on some of the platforms. Like on Twitter, you can't save it anywhere. So the only way is do that. So with me doing that, it means normally if I was to do a screenshot to save it to re-look at it or to share it with somebody else, they should look at this.
You'll leave a positive comment.
I'll leave a positive comment. Yeah. But for someone to get, I think I've left maybe 3 positive comments in the last month because I think sometimes even a positive comment can also be, so many people just go, oh, I love this, oh, I love this, oh, I love it. Well, I don't, for me to leave one, it means it's got to be something I would actually hang on the wall.
Yeah, fair. I just hype my friends up. I think if my friends look hot, I let my friends know they look hot. That's just me.
I don't have any friends.
But like I said, that's how but I only use Instagram as
you're sorry, bank table. Your Instagram is more your only friends.
My close friends. On my stories.
Yeah, but that you only ever post regardless. You're aiming at them.
I post some public stories, but...
No, but what I mean is you're still aiming your post at your friends.
Oh, yeah.
You're not posting for strangers.
No, not really. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about posting, you're not thinking what some stranger's going to say. You're going to think, well, what case or someone might think.
On my stories, it's not. If I post a photo on my feed. Yeah, no. If I post a photo on my feed, I post that because I'm like, I really like this photo of me, so I'm going to share it with the world.
But you're still only thinking about your friends.
Oh yeah.
You're not thinking about anybody else.
No. Like no, I'm more thinking about me putting something out there and then my friends. Because that's how I use Instagram as a friendly thing. Yeah. Like I only follow my friends. Maybe I follow like a couple of celebrities I like and maybe like 2 influencers I like. But like that's it. That's the people I follow on social media. And yeah, like that's just how I use it. So I'm not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about the gratification of... And it's good because I think because I treat it like that and... I haven't really I don't really get many negative comments on my social media, which is good. I mean, I don't really have much of it. I've got Instagram and I barely use Facebook. I only have that to keep in contact with family. But like I only post on Instagram and I just treat that like a friendly thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get really many negative comments, which is a good thing.
Yeah, but I sometimes, some of the positive comments I say in a negative way. Oh, she's hot and sexy. Sorry, that's not really the photo, the way I want my photo described.
I get that, but I mean, it's just people's...
No, I'm talking about in general.
I know, but I think that's just people's vocabulary.
Yeah.
So it's just a vocabulary that you wouldn't use, whereas they do mean it in a compliment, but that's just...
Oh, yeah, that's what I said. I see it as a positive, but to me it actually works as a negative because...
What I find negative is kind of backhanded compliments when... So I've seen it... some of photos that you've posted where you'll post a photo and someone will say, oh, but such and such model is so much prettier.
Oh, yeah, no, I really dislike that.
I know it comes from a nice place if you're trying to build the other person up, but it's really horrible to the actual person in that photo. And like, yeah, so it's like a backhanded compliment.
Well, it happens a bit with us because they're seeing you doing the intro and the outro and... they're just thinking, Bec's such a nice model. Bec wasn't modelling when she was doing that. She was just being herself and natural and bubbly. Yeah. Which means you look people that are bubbly and doing that look attractive. Yeah. Now you put 3 or 4 or 5 cameras onto somebody and get them there and then put the pressure of creating a nice shot. There's no bubbliness left. It's more serious. And that a lot of the models we work with, I'd love to show what they really, but they're not comfortable like you are in front of a camera now. No. Your early days in front of the camera, you were awkward as crap. In fact, there's one.
If anyone wants to laugh, go back through our early YouTubes and laugh at how awkward I was.
There was one the other day I was watching when I was doing a bit of maintenance. And you actually were jumping around, waving your hands. I couldn't believe it.
That was the most awkward thing ever. I'm just like, hi guys.
Hi guys.
But I think the first few, like, I used to do this really annoying baby voice. Remember?
Oh yeah, you went into baby.
I would always do this really annoying baby voice.
Yeah, that nasally.
It's horrible. What's wrong with me? But yeah, I find it, like, I know it comes from a nice place, but I find it, because I just feel for the model, and I don't think they will see those comments, but I just think, what if they were to see that? Like, I just think how they would probably feel.
Surprised. I tend to, just different models we worked with, certain comments have sort of led that, they've watched every YouTube.
Yeah.
And so they've especially watched the one that they might have been in.
Yeah, and so they probably read the comments.
And then they read, like, Rara was saying the other day, there was something that upset her the other day. It was a comment that someone had made, and it was sort of like, yeah, I just left it there because it was a bit open-ended. It wasn't directed directly at you. It's sort of like half at you, half at me. Yeah. And I heard, and we've got to look into it, I haven't looked into it, we can set some rules in our comments on YouTube.
Want to block certain words?
No. It's like a little thing that before someone comments for the first time, when they go to comment, it comes up with the rules of commenting on that channel. Oh. And I think we need to do it because I just want to rule it, anything that puts the model down or is nasty towards the talent or the model will be deleted. Yeah. So if someone does put it in there, that's given us full right to go delete.
Have a go at us all you want. Have a go at Peter's crap photography.
I don't delete that.
No, we don't. We don't delete comments. We only delete comments that are rude against the model.
Yeah, and people saying what they're going to do to the model.
Yeah, that's gross.
Or what they're doing while they're watching the video is even worse.
That's gross.
And the fact they think they need to tell us.
This is what I mean. To have this seeing a comment section doesn't mean you need to leave it. Like you don't have to. Like the world will not implode if you.
Bec will like you so much better if you never wrote that, even though you're anonymous and we don't know who you are.
I don't know. The internet's a strange place. I remember when the internet first started, I remember dial-up, and just to see how much it's evolved and see how much social media, it's just wild. Like, I remember the maybe...
Yeah, but I know, I watched, it was about 2 years, it was pre-COVID, I watched you break down over the internet.
Yeah, I know.
You had to cut it off because you started becoming...
I know, I started to become nasty.
Yes.
You
were in a group who picked on people. Privately, you would share the picture and pick on that person. Oh, you're going to deny you ever did this.
I just can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. But you were in a group of people. So some influencer might do something. You just shared this picture between each other and laughed and privately comment. You did everything private but then I think they turned on you one day or something. Or you said something they turned on. I can't remember. But I remember you actually saying that I think it was Instagram is starting to make me a nasty person.
Yeah, it was.
And I definitely agree because there's so much hate, there's so much crap on there. I really, as much as we're using it today, pretty much social media is what keeps us alive now.
Yeah, I know.
But it's only because social media killed published work.
Yeah.
So all I've done is moved from printed work to
social media.
Social media.
But if you didn't have a business, you wouldn't have social media.
I wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
I seriously would not have an account on... Yeah, I'd most likely only have the stuff that I've got on... What is this? The gaming sites? Twitch and Discord.
Yeah.
And it would only be in car racing.
Yeah.
It would only be so... Because with those guys, we talk while we're racing, but then we can talk afterwards, or we can watch them in a different race and then talk to them while they're racing, and then they can say, well, how come you're not in this race, and so forth.
Yeah.
So with that, I wouldn't be using...
In anything, yeah.
Anything, but because, and as you know, that I don't even post personal stuff anymore.
No. Well, I don't post anything on my Facebook.
An old assistant made me sort of, you need to tell people what you're doing today. And I did that for a little, and I felt such a wanker.
There's a thing on Facebook called Memories, or you know from my Memories, of course. But the cringiest thing, I sometimes do it just for a good, well, I do it most days just for a laugh. Is I look
find one of mine and make fun of me because of what I said.
You should see some of the stuff on my, it's so bad. I need to go to a chiropractor some days to fix my back from cringing. It's that bad. Like, it's horrible. It's just, some of the stuff.
I need to log in. I need to steal your thing and log in and have a look at it.
I'm not even going to say how bad. It's like, it is just bad. Some of the stuff I used to post.
You were an emo.
I was just also a bloody train wreck, even more so than I am now. Like, just some of the stuff I felt the need to post as a status. Like, why? For what reason? Oh.
Yeah, well, I never posted negative. I just posted dumb things.
I would post negative stuff. I would post dumb things. I'd post it. It's tragic. It's really tragic.
It's so tragic.
It's really bad. Like, it's embarrassing.
And going on that, I found...
Sorry.
Over the years, I've moved from platform to platform. MySpace, I never really got into MySpace until I started looking at the music industry.
Yeah, MySpace was awesome for music.
It was no good for me as a photographer. DeviantArt, when I was starting off, was really good, except that was just where everyone stole your work from. Because that's where... Motley Crue stole all of my pictures. That was the guy who did their visuals. Followed me on DeviantArt. We found that's where they stole all my photos from. But DeviantArt was a community that it allowed me to experiment. And because everyone was art-minded, even though there's people that don't like your work, it didn't affect you. Because they weren't saying you were shit. That's not their cup of tea.
Yeah, for sure.
When I went into Tumblr, it took me a while to get on Facebook. I didn't understand Facebook. I didn't get it. I didn't even like it. Then MySpace was crashing. DeviantArt was only where they were stealing work, so I didn't want to put anything else on them. So I started on the Facebook from them. But in the meantime, I loved Twitter because I could follow just the right people with the right blogs that were full in the fashion area that I loved. And everything in their feed was the stuff. And also like, oh, there's all my influence. Every single picture I see today, oh my God, I want to create something like that. And because I could dial in that exact person with that exact taste.
Yeah.
And there was one particular redhead model from London, and like her taste was amazing, but then once a week a full erect penis would take up my whole screen. And it would be no warning. I would say, yeah, I didn't need to see that. And Sheree, my wife, would always laugh if she saw that came up. But everything else she posted was just the style and the feel of fashion I liked. And then when DeviantArt went G-rated, it was like, that was the end of my ability to find...
DeviantArt or Tumblr?
Oh, sorry, Tumblr.
So I'm listening.
Sorry? You're listening. Yeah, well, DeviantArt I think is still running, but I don't think anybody's on there.
I don't think anyone uses it
anymore. They might be doing NFTs or something. Oh my God. But as soon as it went G-rated, I just got off it because everything I followed, and not from fashion and ID, like Vogue, ID, Numero, all the magazines I loved. And I was seeing these images before I could even buy the magazines in Australia, because we were always about a month late. And then just recently, maybe halfway through COVID, like I had a Twitter account because it was set up by my old manager years ago, Nectaria, like right back years ago. When the one manager I ever had, which was a disaster. And, yeah. Anyway, so...
joyous memories.
Yeah, terrible memories. Anyway, so with that, and on top of that, we had Dimitri, who was the owner of Cello magazine, who decided to do me a favour and bought me 40,000 followers without telling me he did this. And I was like, my page is going off. Oh, no. Look, I've gone from 2,000 to 42,000 in a week. Oh my God. And then like a month later, he told me, I don't want 40,000 Middle Eastern or Indian people who don't even own the internet. Bots, yeah. But I finally went back onto it, I think halfway through COVID, and it was Rogan, someone that I'd worked with. And I quickly flicked on there one day, Rogan came up, and I've got a full erect member sitting in my face and thinking, what's this doing on Twitter?
And then you found out you're allowed to post that on Twitter as long as you mark it as adult only. Yep.
And I thought, hang on a minute. And I started looking up my favourite magazines, and here I was seeing all these amazing fashion shoots. Not G-rated, not censored, the way they were supposed to be seen. And my feed is really cool. I've got that charcoal artist we spoke about, and there's another girl, I can't remember her name, but she has an Instagram and the Twitter, but the Instagram's always G-rated versions of, and it's like something like the feel of Kate Moss is what so it's just everything that was like Kate Moss in the 90s, but anything that's new that's like Kate Moss in the 90s.
Oh, isn't it Mossy Vibes?
Mossy Vibes, yeah. So yeah, you can give a little link. Mossy Vibes, like I really enjoy her feed, and I was showing Rara yesterday, and it was just so enjoying. Even Rara goes, "This is amazing. This is like what we used to look like before the world changed."
Yes.
But yes, I am. Even though like my following on there, I don't care. But I get a lot of...
You get a lot of enjoyment out of scrolling.
Not just that, but even if I look at the rate of people who like my images on there compared to my following, it's freaking enormous.
That's good.
Which means I think the people... Well, it's like me. I'm nearly certain I'm seeing everybody's full feed that I'm following. I don't feel it. I don't follow a lot of people. I think I'm only following like 80 or 90. I'm very fussy. I don't want... I even removed my Grandfoss. What are the dogs? What are they called? Oh,
Grumpy Griffins.
Grumpy Griffins. I even took them off my Insta now because they got cute and they got boring after a while. And they're just because I post so much of stuff I'm not interested in. I just flick, and it's people like Ellen Von Unworth. Like there's one picture out of her 30 I absolutely love, but I don't want to delete her. I'll put up with the 30 I have to flick through to see that one awesome picture she does. There's other people, I don't get that awesome picture, so I just can't put up with them in my feed anymore.
I'm really good at going out to a nightclub and having a few drinks and making friends in the smokers. And, oh my God, give me your Instagram. Let's follow each other. And then a week later, I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, because like I said, I only follow people I know. I'm like, who is this person? Oh, that's right. I met them out at a club a few weeks. So I give them normally like about a month's grace before I unfollow them.
You did. There's another thing. I haven't. I haven't done it. I haven't done it. There is you can hide them, isn't it? So they still think they're followed, but you don't see anything of theirs.
Yeah.
I'm giving away your secrets now. So everybody you think Bec is the...
No, I don't actually use that function. I just know it's... I had to use it for one of my friend's little sisters because it would have broken her heart if I unfollowed her, but she was just posting like every minute of the day and it was just clogging my feed. So I had to mute her. But other than that...
There's one person I feel I want to do it to, and I don't know him personally at all, and I helped them out a little bit, and they were so happy when I followed them. And it was sort of like, everything that comes up the feed is, I don't want to see pictures of boats and churches and the bike against the fence. This is not what I want in my feed. So I think even though they're a lovely... I never met them personally, but they were really nice to me, and we had a little chat back and forth. I think they can just think I followed them, but I'm certainly not won't be listening to this. I don't think they speak English, so
I hope not.
I can try and talk. I don't know where they're from actually, but yeah, it's. But I don't I think I follow 150.
Yeah, you don't follow many people at all.
Most of the people in that 150 are either models I've shot or hair and makeup artists I work with, or my favourite magazines, agencies, because a few agencies that.
I think with the whole following thing as well, though, I think people get really hung up about followers. I think people seem to think however many followers you have is such a big amount. Whereas I look at like engagement as a bit more of a milestone than how many followers you have, because like I just said, like I'll be out at a nightclub and I'll meet someone for 2 seconds and be like, sure, I'll follow you. It doesn't mean I'm ever going to engage with their...
No, but they want to know that this emo-looking girl in the miniskirt's following me.
I guess my favourite DJ does follow me, and I do find that pretty impressive. She doesn't like any of my stuff, but he follows me. It's like... What?
Mandra?
Yeah.
He never likes one of your picture?
No.
Oh, do you check every single picture?
No.
You should. Oh, it sounds like you must.
No, because it pops up so... I don't check every single picture.
No, if you go into the likes of the picture, it'll tell you who you're following, who liked it.
Yeah, but so a day after I post a photo, I'll just be like, oh, which one of my friends...
Mandra didn't like me.
No, but that's okay. But he uses it for a business.
Of course, he uses it like me.
Yeah, exactly. But he still follows me.
But I will, if I like something, it means I will never like something if I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm fussy. But I would say on average, I'm most likely like 10 things a day on all my platforms.
Yeah, you're selective.
I'm selective, but... we've just been selective cut out.
Gave me such a fright. It always does. I think I always jump.
You should think you always jump?
I think I always jump.
We could just finish off this quick little section. But it's that thing that we're all allowed our own taste. It's what pictures you hang in your house, what movies you decide to watch, and all those things. Nobody should be getting down that, Bec didn't say like on this picture, because you don't know what you like. And this is bring this back to photographers. You should create for yourself, because you do not know how to please other people. You don't know. Perfect analogy. I thought about this after. So Bec made this. No, I made my soup. No, forget the soup. Motorbikes. They're coming together. It's the coffin cheaters. No, Bec. No, I didn't go that back. So I make something, all right? Mm-hmm. And so when I make it, it might be a chili con carne.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
Yeah, but I'm going to add something I thought since then.
Okay.
And then we'll finish.
Okay.
But I think this is really important because it finishes off last week's. Yeah. All right, so if I make a chili con carne, when I'm about to say this is finished and I'm going to season it to my taste, all right? So I'll taste it and go, oh, it needs a bit more salt, it needs a bit more pepper, it needs a bit more spice. But if I was to go, now, what does Len, my son, like? What does Cherie, my wife, like? What does Nikki, my daughter, like? What does Beck like? What does Jared like?
Lots of spice.
And then what does Laurie like? Even more. No, I think Jared's higher in spice than Laurie. Right? So everybody has a different taste. So I cannot make
one batch of chili.
That every single one of them's going, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But that is why most restaurants will make something and say, do you want salt and pepper on it?
Yeah. Or do you want Parmesan cheese?
You can add the level of what you like. And same with, you go into a lot of pizza places now, you have chili oil. Same thing. So we can't do this with photos because they can't put chili oil over it or put Parmesan cheese on it. In fact, it might be a good thing to do is put Parmesan on a Bec photo. We should eat it.
There'd be a mountain of it though.
Anyway,
that's a really good way of putting it.
Did I talk about this the other day when we spoke about your chicken con carne thing you made? I thought personally it could do with a little bit more. You already thought it had too much, but I thought Jared must be on my side.
He said it was perfect.
Right, so there you go.
Well, there you go. So can't please everyone.
I hope we had some spice to your life today.
Oh, some spice up your life, Spice Girls.
And Bec's going to go and
I'm going to go
a little
mush.
teenage again.
So
and you'll hear about it in the next podcast.
Yay. Bye, guys.